2024 is coming to a close, and this is the time of the year where players of The Elder Scrolls Online reflect on the game's newest changes and speculate on what content and features the year ahead might bring. The last year in ESO has definitely had its ups and downs. There was some great content added. I love scribing and skill styles. House Tours has been an enjoyable addition, and the new companion Zerith-Var is no doubt my favorite so far. But the reactions to the new battlegrounds mode were very mixed, and player morale has taken a few hits, especially the PvP players. The annual letter addressing the community from Matt Firor, the studio director for ZOS, usually provides a look back on what's happened this year, with a brief glimpse into the next year. But this year's format is a little different, with the new letter instead spending much of the time talking about what's coming for ESO, and how they plan to use community feedback to evolve the game over time to meet the needs and wants of all of the different types of players that Tamriel attracts. There are some big changes and content tests in the works that players have been asking for a very long time. But one of the important things to note from this letter is that the global reveal, which usually would be coming up in January and give us a glimpse into the next year's content, will instead happen in April. We will still have a content update in March, with the PTS opening in January. And there will still be zone content that comes out this year. But chapters will be going away, and the release model of a new expansion every June is taking a back seat. This has some potential positives and negatives. On one hand, we'll no longer have an idea of exactly what type of content to expect. If there is no expansion, will we still get an annual trial? Or could this lighten the content roadmap even further? On the other hand, the expansion model has gotten stale. And a complaint you see often is that each expansion falls into the same or similar predictable patterns. Plus, the timeline change might give developers time to feel inspired by the content they're creating, without the stress of aggressive deadlines. But with the exit of the expansion model, what is the game's plan for new content releases? At this point, the details are minimal. However, the plan is to move into a seasons model, breaking the year into smaller chunks and giving developers time to experiment. This brings up a couple of questions, many of which we won't get an answer to until April, but they did make sure to address the Destiny 2 model and mention that the content, quests, and zones added with seasons will not be removed from the game when a season ends. Does this mean there's a battle pass coming, more monetization, or maybe just an add-on to ESO Plus? We're gonna have to wait till April to find out more details. So exactly what changes are the developers hoping to address and test in the next year through this new season's model? They'd like to return to large-scale Cyrodiil and have plans to address the performance issues by experimenting with the Cyrodiil campaign, where all classes have PvP-specific skills that replace their standard skills, with the end goal of supporting more players in one campaign. I can see this one being either a hit or miss with the PvP community because of the skill changes, but I am looking forward to seeing how this test works out, and I'm glad to see an effort being made to address the issues in Cyrodiil. I'm also interested to see how this could impact balancing between PvE and PvP long term, but there is still a lot we don't know just yet. Overworld difficulty has also been a sore subject for some players that they plan to address. And though there aren't many details at this point, there is a mention of experimenting with some smaller Craglorn-style zones targeted at group play. I have mixed feelings on Overworld difficulty because sometimes I just want to relax and have an easier experience, and others I'd like a bit more of a challenge. But I'm sure the dev team's been weighing their options for a while, and I'm interested to see what potential fix they've decided to try. The Overworld will also have some new changes to base game zone visuals, with the possibility for new quests in old zones, or even a return to the in-game guild storylines, like the Fighters Guild or Dark Brotherhood. Changes to base game zones could start rolling out as early as March, with the starter islands being the first to get a facelift. These base game zone changes will be a big benefit to new players, since this is generally where they get their first impression of the game. And to fit that same objective, they're planning to improve the returning Wailing Prison tutorial experience even further. But this is just the start of their initiative to improve new and returning player experiences by making the world and game a little less overwhelming, which I think is an awesome and very welcomed goal, because the game is just absolutely massive at this point. This also includes a pretty lengthy list of UI changes on the roadmap, like an overhaul to the guild system to better promote interaction and make management easier. But there are other PC UI and map changes in the works too. There's a lot to be excited about as we look ahead to 2025 in ESO, with some of these changes ticking off some major player wishlist requests. I've even highlighted some of these issues in my own videos, so it's great to see a response to this feedback. But there are still some unknowns we will need to wait for more details on before we get too excited. The seasons model in particular leaves a lot of questions unanswered. Could this be in line with the model used in Fallout 76, or more like a battle pass? Despite all that, I'm looking forward to seeing what the next year brings in ESO, and appreciate the focus on the backlog of player feedback. How do you feel about the announcements? Are there any mentioned changes you're most interested in? And what questions are still lingering on your mind after reading the letter? Thanks for watching. Enjoy the benefits of the rest of the ESO Plus event while it's here, and I'll be back with a new life guide very soon.